I mistook my female boss's WeChat for my little sister's, and kept sending her allowance money out of the blue. At the dinner table, Tang Xiaoyu glared at me resentfully. Did you block me recently? My chopsticks paused. No. What's wrong? Then why aren't you sending my allowance? She put down her chicken wing, counting on her fingers. I haven't gotten a single cent since September. Didn't we agree on 500 a month? My dad chimed in. Your brother doesn't make that much. Giving you 500 is already generous. Don't push your luck. But it was a promise. Tang Xiaoyu wasn't having it. She pulled out her phone and showed me. Look, the last transfer was August 27th. Nothing at all since then. I instinctively opened my own WeChat, scrolled to my transfer history. Sept E 500, Oct 500, Navu 500, Dixix 600. That time she said she needed winter clothes. So, I added an extra 100, Jian 500. Every single transaction was clear as day. But the receiver wasn't my sister. It was Su Wan, my direct boss. Head of R&D Dept 2. My finger swiped over her profile pic. An orange cartoon cat. Exactly the same as Tang Xiaoyu's. I thought it was a funny coincidence when I added her. Even chuckled to myself about the destiny. I'm not laughing anymore. 5 months. 600 bucks. All sent straight to my boss. Roll! Tang Xiaoyu waved her hand. Why is your face so pale? Nothing. I locked my screen. I probably sent it to the wrong person. I'll just resend it to you later. Who did you send it to? A coworker. Tang Xiaoyu went, oh, and didn't push it. I shoved a piece of tofu into my mouth. My brain was totally short-circuiting. Su Wan accepted the 600, and didn't say a single word. Didn't even send a question mark. Is that normal? Hell no. I desperately tried to recall the last 5 months. Did Su Wan's attitude towards me change? In September, she asked me to grab her a coffee once. She'd never made me run errands before. In October, at the department dinner, she voluntarily sat next to me for the first time. In November, there was a major screw-up on a project. It was totally my fault, but she covered for me in the meeting. In December's performance review, she gave me an A. In January, just last month, when I was working odd until 1 a.m., she ordered late-night snacks for me. I thought she was just an awesome boss. Looking back now, I'm sweating bullets. Does she think I'm hitting on her? Sending 500 bucks like clockwork every month. Doesn't that seem like a simp subscription? Tang Yuan, stop eating. My mom reached out and felt my forehead. Do you have a fever? Your face is flushing. No, just a little tired. I picked up my bowl, scarfed down the rest, went back to my room, and started scrolling through my chat with Su Wan. Aside from work messages, it was squeaky clean, except for the 5 transfers she accepted. No replies, no refunds, no thank yous, absolutely nothing. I stared at the orange cat avatar on my screen for a solid 3 minutes. It's the 4th day of the Lunar New Year. I go back to the office in 3 days. 3 days. I have to figure out how to smooth this over. Option 1. Play dumb. Boss Su, my sister, has the exact same avatar as you. I transferred it to the wrong person. Could you refund me? Sounds like I'm asking for a gift back. Option 2. Don't mention it. Pretend nothing happened. Just make sure not to send it wrong again. But what if she really got the wrong idea? My phone buzzed. Su Wan sent a message. Tang Yuan, did you go back to your hometown? 11 p.m. and the boss is hitting me up for a chat. In the past, I would have thought it was about work. Now I can't read it like that at all. Yes, Boss Su, got home on the 2nd. Get some good rest. Just that one line. Before, I would have instantly turned off my phone and slept. Today, I stared at those words, get some good rest. Read them back and forth 8 times. Get some good rest. Is she being polite or caring? I placed my phone face down on the nightstand and closed my eyes. I'm so screwed. I feel like I might not be able to act normal around Su Wan ever again. Early the next morning, Tang Xiaoyu pushed the door open. Bro, did you transfer me 500 last night? Yeah, making up for it. Did that person you sent it to by mistake refund you? Not yet. Then hurry up and ask for it back. It's over $20. She sat on the edge of the bed. Is it a male or female coworker? Female. Tang Xiaoyu's expression changed instantly. Female coworker. You send a female coworker 500 every month, for 5 months. I said it was a mistake. Even if it was, why didn't she refund you? She gave me this. I see right through you, squint. Are you a sugar daddy? Shut up. I pulled the blanket over my head. Stop making stuff up, oh. I'm telling you, if mom finds out. If you dare, tell mom. You're not getting a single cent of allowance ever again. She scoffed, dragged her slippers and walked out. The moment the door closed, I heard her mutter, F-boy, I'm not an F-boy. I'm an idiot. On the 5th day, I didn't leave the house. Neither on the 6th, for 2 whole days. I stalked Suwan's WeChat moments from start to finish. She rarely posts. Like one post every 3 months. Her latest was on New Year's Day. A night view out a window captioned New Year. 4 likes, 0 comments. I noticed a detail. The angle of the photo meant it was taken from a high-rise. You could see the entire CBD skyline. She lives in a luxury high-rise on the east side, compared to me sharing a 4-person rental in an urban village. Whatever, no point comparing. I closed moments and started plotting what to do when I get back to work. Plan 1. Confess face-to-face. Say it was a mistake. Ask for the money back. Cross. Straightforward. Cons. If she didn't get the wrong idea, bringing it up makes it awkward. Plan 2. Request a WeChat transfer refund. Add a note. Transferred by mistake. My bad. Then wait for her to return it. Cross. No face-to-face needed. Cons. She could easily pretend she didn't see it. Plan 3. Say absolutely nothing. Just let it go. Cross. 0 awkwardness. Cons. I lose, too. $600. My monthly salary is $6,800 after tax. 600. That's 11 days worth of my hard-earned cash. I can't just let it go. I finally went with plan 2, heading back on the 7th fall. On the high-speed rail, I drafted that message 20-something times before hitting send. Hi boss Sue. Those transfers from before were a mistake on my end. Sent them to the wrong person. Sorry for the trouble. Really sorry about that. The second I sent it, I shoved my phone into my bag. Planned to ignore it for 2 hours. Ended up pulling it out 3 minutes later. Read, no reply. Another 10 minutes passed. Still no reply. Half an hour later, my phone rang. Not a WeChat text. A voice call. Suwan was calling. I almost yeeted my phone. The passenger next to me gave me a weird look. I took a deep breath. Wait, no. I took a really deep breath. Then answered. Boss Sue, Tang Yuan. Her voice was super calm. Couldn't read any emotion. What did you mean by mistake on your end? Well, my little sister has the exact same avatar as you. I wasn't paying attention and accidentally sent her allowance to you. Dead silence on the line for 2 seconds. The orange cat? Right? Another 2 seconds of silence. Then Suwan dropped a total bombshell. I know. You what? The very first time I received it, I knew you sent it wrong. Then, why didn't you say anything? I wanted to see how long it would take you to notice. What is that supposed to mean? Was she testing my observation skills? Or playing some mind games with me? Boss Sue, we'll talk about the money in person tomorrow at work. She hung up. I sat there frozen, holding my phone. The only sound was the train roaring. Talk in person. Talk about what? How? I've got a seriously bad feeling about this. It feels like this isn't going to go down like any of my plans. Got back to my apartment at 9 p.m. My roommate Li Zheng was gaming. Didn't even look up when I walked in. You're back? Yeah? Got a package on the table. Arrived before the holidays. I dropped my bags to check. A small box. No sender address. Opened it up to find a mug. Printed with an orange cat. Almost identical to that WeChat avatar. A note stuck to the bottom of the mug. Happy New Year. No signature. I flipped the note over. A line of small text on the back. You don't need to send the 6th one. The 6th one. February's. Not only did she know I messed up, she even knew I'd been totally clueless this whole time. She was literally waiting for me to send it again in February. What on earth is this woman playing at? I set the mug on the desk and collapsed into my chair. Li Zheng finally turned away from his screen, glanced at the mug. Who gave you that? Pretty nice. You got a girlfriend or something. My boss gave it to me. Li Zhang almost dropped his controller. Your boss gave you a mug. Is your boss a guy or a girl? A girl. How old is she? 28. Is she pretty? I opened my mouth, but didn't know how to answer. Is Su Wan pretty? Objectively speaking, out of everyone I've met in real life, she's easily top tier. Even with her hair tied up and no makeup, her skin is flawless. Suit pants make her legs look incredibly long. She never smiles during meetings. But the few times she does, I've only seen it twice. And both times, it was directed at me. Yeah, she's pretty. I said. Li Zhang gave me this look, like everyone in the world gets it, except for me. Bro, did you do something? And you still don't realize what's going on. Yeah, I did something. I sent my boss 5 months of allowance straight. She accepted it, and even sent me a cat mug. Tomorrow at work, she said we'd talk in person. I barely slept all night. When my alarm went off at 7 a.m. I looked at myself in the mirror. My dark circles were so bad it looked like I got punched in both eyes. Got dressed and headed out. Grabbed an Americano on the way. Trying to wake myself up a bit. Walked into the office building. Swiped my card for the elevator. Just as the doors were closing, a hand reached in and stopped them. Su Wan. Black coat, gray scarf, holding a thermos. She walked in and stood to my left. Just the two of us in the elevator. Morning, she said. Morning. How was your new year, Boss Su? Not bad. You? Not bad. The ride up to the 30th floor was dead silent for 10 seconds. Suddenly, she spoke up. Did you get the mug? I did, thanks. You're welcome. She glanced at me. Consider it interest. Interest? The interest on 2600 is a single mug. That interest rate is way too low. Boss Su, about that money. Ding. We reached the 17th floor. The doors opened. Liu Ting from marketing was standing there. Su Wan didn't say anything else. Walked straight out and I followed. As we passed Liu Ting, she gave me this sneaky little wink. I ignored her, got to my desk, and sat down. Opened my laptop, pretending to check emails. But I couldn't process a single word. Su Wan's office is in the glass partition at the end of the hall. The door was slightly ajar. 9:30 a.m. Department morning meeting. The 5 of us sat around the small conference table. Su Wan opened her notebook. Her eyes swept over everyone. I need the Spring Festival campaign review reports by EOD today. Also, the KPI allocation plan for the new quarter will be discussed in this afternoon's meeting. Tang Yuan, stay behind. The other 3 gave me a look, got up, and left. Chen Hao was the last to leave. As he passed by, he deliberately bumped my chair. Tang Yuan, first day back after the holidays. And you're already being kept after class by the boss. I ignored him. The door closed. Su Wan put down her pen, leaned back in her chair and looked at me. I'm not planning to refund your 2600 Mai. Let me finish. She raised her hand. When you sent the first transfer, I did think you made a mistake, but you didn't say anything. So I figured I'd wait and see. Then the second month came, and I was sure you definitely messed up. Then why did you? Because I found it quite interesting. Interesting. My 600 bucks is interesting to you. You as a person. She looked at me. The way she looked made me squirm. You don't talk much at work. Never speak up in meetings. But every proposal you hand in is the most detailed in the entire department. Do you know, in the year and a half you've been here, exactly how many sentences you've voluntarily spoken to me? I shook my head. 17 sentences. She actually counted, plus the 2 in the elevator today. 19 sentences. I didn't know what to say to that. I guess this makes it 20. But sending allowance to your sister every month. Su Wan picked up her thermos and took a sip. On time and consistent. Never missed a single payment. So I knew you weren't an F-boy. You just hadn't been saying things to the right person. I felt like there was some deep hidden meaning there. But I didn't dare overthink it. So, about the money. She cut me off. Do something for me. And consider the 600 my consulting fee. Do what? I need someone to go with me. To the industry networking event this Saturday. You mean, like a +1, as a colleague? You can think of it that way. I couldn't figure out what she was playing at. But if the 600 is gone, so be it. Better than letting her hold it over my head. Sure. 10:30 a.m. See you in the hotel lobby. Wear a suit. She looked down and went back to her files. I awkwardly stood up to leave. When I reached the door, she called out to me again. Tang Yuan, make sure you send the allowance to your actual sister from now on. Don't mess it up again. After saying that, she turned a page, as if this whole thing was just a minor blip. But when she said it, I saw her mouth. Wait, I saw a fleeting expression on her face. It didn't look like she was joking. It looked like she was saying something she actually regretted. Back at my desk, Chen Hao leaned over. So, get chewed out? No? Just talking about work. What kind of work requires closing the door? He let out a laugh. The kind of laugh that makes your skin crawl. Tang Yuan, let me be real with you. Su Wan is not as simple as she looks. You shouldn't get too close to her. Thanks for caring. I'm doing this for your own good. He lowered his voice. Do you know what level she was at HQ? She got demoted down here. What does that have to do with me? Of course it does. If you let her use you. Chen Bro, I turned to look at him. I haven't finished my campaign review report yet. Is yours done? He slinked away awkwardly. I opened my document, fingers resting on the keyboard, but I didn't type a single word. My mind was filled with everything Su Wan just said. 17 sentences. She actually kept count of how many sentences I've spoken to her. 2:0 p.m. KPI allocation meeting. The 5 of us sitting together. Su Wan projected the new quarter's project list onto the screen. We have 3 major projects this quarter. The Shanhe brand total overhaul, the East Side Commercial Complex marketing plan, and the internal bid for the group's annual brand promo. She looked around. Shanhe goes to Chen Hao. Chen Hao nodded, looking extremely smug. East Side Complex goes to Tang Yuan. Chen Hao's expression instantly dropped. East Side Complex was the biggest account of the quarter. The budget was more than double Shanhe's. Boss Su, Chen Hao spoke up immediately. I did the preliminary research for East Side last year. I'm much more familiar with it. I read your research report. Su Wan didn't even look up. It wasn't detailed enough. I can supplement it. Tang Yuan will take it. She clicked to the next PPT slide. Any questions? Chen Hao opened his mouth, but nothing came out. After the meeting, the sound of him slamming the door could be heard 2 walls away. Liu Ting sneaked over from marketing to find me, leaning over my cubicle divider. Tang Yuan, heard you got the East Side Complex. That's a huge gig. Doesn't Boss Su usually give those to old Chen? What kind of luck did you stumble into? No idea. Could it be? She gave a scandalous look. Liu Ting, your marketing department monthly report is due today. Are you done with it? She bolted instantly. Worked overtime until 7:30 p.m. Everyone had left the office, except for me and Su Wan. She came out of her glass office, carrying her bag, passing my desk, not leaving yet, just looking over the East Side materials a bit more. She stood there and watched me for a few seconds. Don't stay up too late, okay? She took 2 steps and stopped again. Don't forget about Saturday. I won't. She left. Once the office was completely empty, I leaned back and spaced out for a bit. The water in the orange cat mug on my desk had already gone cold. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday passed surprisingly peaceful. At the office, Su Wan treated me no differently than anyone else. Strictly business. Clean and professional. I even started to wonder if that conversation on Monday was all just a dream. The only abnormal thing was Chen Hao. Over the last 3 days, his attitude towards me upgraded from unfriendly to clear hostility. During afternoon tea on Thursday, he loudly said in front of 3 coworkers, "Young people sure climb the ladder fast these days. Who knows what kind of skills they're relying on?" Nobody engaged. I didn't either. Not because I'm the bigger person. It just wasn't worth it. Friday afternoon, Su Wan sent a message in the group chat. Industry networking event this Saturday. Tang Yuan will accompany me. Everyone else has the weekend off. Chen Hao instantly replied, "Receive." The exclamation mark on that receive radiated so much anger, I could physically feel it. Saturday, 9:00 a.m. I put on my one and only suit and headed out. I bought it during a huge online sale last year. The pant legs were a bit long, so I hemmed them up myself with safety pins. When I got to the hotel lobby, Su Wan was already there, in a red dress, black suit jacket, hair let down. It was my first time seeing her wear a dress, and my first time seeing her with her hair down. We're here. Let's go. She naturally walked ahead. I followed a half step behind. The networking event was in the hotel banquet hall. About 20 or 30 people showed up, middle and upper management, from various companies. When signing in at the door, the receptionist greeted her. Boss, sir. This is my colleague, Tang Yuan. Great, we've seated you at table 6. On our way over. More than a few people greeted Su Wan. Boss Su. Long time no see. Su Wan, when are you heading back to HQ? Oh my, Boss Su. You look gorgeous today. She smiled and replied to each of them. Handled it flawlessly, but the second we reached a secluded spot, she dropped the smile. She muttered one word under her breath. I couldn't help but ask, then, why did you come? There's someone I have to show my face to. So, he sees me. Who? She didn't answer. Her eyes shifted to the entrance. A man in his 50s walked in, accompanied by 2 younger guys. Su Wan's expression flickered for a split second. I couldn't pinpoint exactly what the emotion was, but it definitely wasn't happiness. Whatever happens next, don't say a word, she warned in a low voice. Got it. The man noticed Su Wan and walked straight over. Xiao Wan, you're back. He smiled and reached out his hand. How's your dad's health lately? He's fine. Thanks for asking, Uncle Joe. Su Wan gave a brief handshake and let go. The man then looked at me, my colleague. The man's gaze lingered on me for less than a second, then moved away. Xiao Wan, your dad's situation has always weighed on my mind. That proposal I mentioned last time. How much have you thought about it? Still, considering. Don't consider it for too long. He patted Su Wan's shoulder. Time waits for no one. After saying that, he left. The moment he turned around, Su Wan dropped her perfect manufactured smile. Who is he? I couldn't help but ask. Zhou Yangguo, vice president of the industry association. He used to be my dad's business partner. Later, he used dirty tricks to swallow my dad's shares and pushed him into getting severely ill. She spoke in a very flat tone, as if talking about someone else's business. But her knuckles were white from gripping the thermos. So you came to this networking event to let him know you're still around. She cut me off. To make him uncomfortable, I looked at her side profile and suddenly realized everything I knew about her before was just surface level. She's not just a strict department boss. Speaking of which, Fenghua wants to recommend a hidden gem app to you besties. Douyin selection. Every video is super high quality. You can even listen to the videos. Perfect to have on while cooking or doing laundry. It's super user-friendly. It even has a sleep timer. For you guys who love stories before bed, just set the timer in advance. Listen for as long as you want. If you're into urban romance novels, hurry up and download it to try it out. Halfway through the networking event, there was a segment for brief company presentations. Our company was 4th in line. Su Wan went on stage and spoke for 5 minutes. The topic was a review of classic case studies from last quarter. She spoke very steadily, crystal clear logic. A lot of people in the audience were nodding, except for Zhao Jianguo sitting in the front row, glued to his phone the whole time. After she finished and stepped down, passing by Zhou Jianguo, he suddenly spoke up. Xiao Wan, nice case studies, but your current platform is a bit too small scale. Su Wan didn't stop walking. It's enough for what I need. Your dad didn't think small like that, back in the day? She stopped in her tracks. No matter how big my dad thought back then, he still got ripped out by the roots, didn't he? Zhao Yangguo's smile froze for a split second. Su Wan continued walking. As she passed by me, she whispered, "Let's go." We stayed at the networking event for just over an hour total. Walking out of the hotel, she stood by the entrance and took a deep breath. Thanks for coming with me. I didn't even do anything. You just standing there was enough. She turned her head to look at me. Going alone makes me look too lonely. Alright, so my role today was basically a breathing background prop. Let's go. Lunch is on me. She took 2 steps forward and stopped. Any food allergies? No. Alright then. She took me to a Japanese restaurant next to the hotel. A tiny storefront you had to turn into an alley to find. We ordered 2 set meals, sitting face to face. Halfway through the meal, she suddenly asked, Tang Yuan, you've been at the company for a year and a half. How much money have you saved up? Not much. Give me a number. A little over 30K ka. Is that enough for a down payment? Down payment? A down payment for a house in this city. I let out a laugh. I'm missing a zero. She didn't laugh. Have you ever thought about jumping ship? I have, but haven't found the right fit. What if I recommended one for you? I put down my chopsticks. What do you mean? Oceanic Real Estate, the client for the East Side Complex. They're hiring a planning director. The annual salary is 3 times what you're making now. 3 times? I'm making 9k before taxes right now. 3 times would be 27k. What level of experience are they looking for? 3 years of experience, with major project case studies. She paused. If the East Side Complex is done well, that's a ready-made case study right there. I stared at her for a long time before saying, so giving me the East Side Complex wasn't just a regular task assignment. The task assignment was definitely one reason. She picked up a piece of salmon with her chopsticks. The second reason, like I said, your proposals are the most detailed. Is there a third reason? She didn't answer me. Just looked down and ate her fish. We walked for a bit on the way back. Didn't say much. When we got to the subway entrance, she suddenly asked me a question. Where does your sister go to school? Normal University. Sophomore. What's her major? Chinese language and literature. Not bad. She pulled out her subway card. Tang Yuan. About that 2600. You don't need to. I started. She glanced at me. It's not a consulting fee anymore. We're even today. She smiled. The third time I'd seen her smile. All right. We're even. She walked into the subway station. I stood at the entrance, watching her silhouette disappear around the corner of the escalator. Stood there for a long time. Li Shang was right. I really don't have a clue what's going on. But this time, I might not be the only one trying to figure things out. First thing Monday morning, Chen Hao slammed a cup of coffee down in front of me. Must have been a tiring weekend. I looked at the coffee. Didn't touch it. What's that supposed to mean? I heard you and Boss Su went to the networking event together. He gave me a loaded smile. And even grabbed food together. Word travels fast. It was a work assignment. Oh, a work assignment. He repeated it. His voice wasn't loud or quiet, just loud enough for the 2 colleagues next to us to hear. Tang Yuan, I've been in this department for 3 years. And I've never been taken out solo by Boss Su. You get this kind of VIP treatment after a year and a half. Color me impressed. Chen bro, if you have something to say, just say it. Say it directly. He leaned in a little closer. Do you and Su Wan have some sort of inappropriate relationship going on? Dead silence for 2 seconds. Say that again. I said, Tang Yuan. Chen Hao. Su Wan's voice echoed from down the hall. She was standing at the door of her office, holding her thermos. Expressionless. Come in. The 2 of us walked into her office, one after the other. The door closed. Su Wan sat down and looked straight at Chen Hao. What inappropriate relationship were you just talking about? Chen Hao's expression went a bit stiff, but he doubled down. Boss Su, I just feel like it's unfair. A project as massive as the East Side Complex, given to a rookie who's only been here a year and a half, and taking him out alone for networking over the weekend. First, the assignment of the East Side Complex was a decision I made based on competency evaluations. The rationale was laid out perfectly clearly in the email. Second, Bunny, I take someone with me to the networking event every quarter. Last quarter, I took Liu Ting. Why didn't you have a problem with it then? Third, she paused, placed her thermos on the desk. This inappropriate relationship you're accusing us of. Do you have proof? Chen Hao stayed silent. If you don't have proof, do you know what spreading these kinds of rumors in the workplace is called? Do you know? It's called defamation. And you're not just defaming Tang Yuan. You're defaming me. Chen Hao's face flushed bright red. Boss, Su, go back and fix the Shanhe proposal. There were 3 data errors in your last pitch. Have it on my desk by Wednesday. Chen Hao walked out looking like he'd just been slapped across the face. I got ready to leave, too. Su Wan stopped me. If he runs his mouth again, you don't need to. Got it. When can you get the initial plan for the East Side Complex done? Before this Friday. Good. She looked down at her documents. I walked out and returned to my desk. Chen Hao wasn't in his seat. My coworker Zhao Lei leaned over and whispered, Tang bro. Chen Hao was just in the pantry on the phone, talking smack about you for minutes. Let him. He said he's going to snitch to VP Wang. VP Wang is the VP in charge of our department. Su Wan's direct boss said he's going to report the boss for playing favorites and ask him to investigate your relationship. I put down my mouse. It started as an accidental allowance transfer. How did it escalate into this? Wednesday noon. I was eating in the cafeteria. Tang Xiaoyu sent a WeChat. Bro, I want to sign up for an LDL's prep class. It's $50. Can you sponsor half? Sure. I opened WeChat Pay. This time I stared at the avatar 3 times. Double-checked the nickname 3 times to confirm it was Tang Xiaoyu. Before hitting send, once bitten, twice shy. After sending the money, I casually asked, why is your avatar exactly the same as my boss's? What boss? My department head is also an orange cat. For real. She sent an El Mao meme. Could it be my drawing? My avatar. I bought from an artist on Bilibili. It's a custom piece. Only 2 exist online. My hand froze. Only 2 exist online. Then the other one is with Su Wan. What's the artist's name? Hold on. She scrolled for a bit. Good night, Orange Cat. Why? Orange Cat. Good night, Orange Cat. I opened Su Wan's Moments. Scrolled way back. Found a post from 2 years ago. She shared an article back then. Title: Side Hustle Survival Guide for Modern Youth. Her caption was just 2 words. Trying it. I clicked into the article. Interviewed 8 young people with side hustles. Case #5. A planning director at an ad agency. Drawing custom avatars in her spare time. Screen name: Good Night Orange Cat. The interview was from 2 years ago. Su Wan drew it. That orange cat avatar was drawn by Su Wan. She drew one for Tang Xiaoyu and kept one for herself. Only 2 exist online. So Tang Xiaoyu was her client from the very beginning. Then she must have known who Tang Xiaoyu was ages ago. Knew Tang Xiaoyu's last name was Tang. Knew Tang Xiaoyu was my sister. Or is this just a massive coincidence? I turned this discovery over and over in my head all afternoon. The more I thought about it, the weirder it felt. Right before clocking out, I did something that might have been stupid. I looked up my referral record from when I joined the company. Our company requires an internal referral code to join. I originally submitted my resume on a job board. During my HR interview, they said my resume came through the internal referral channel. I never really paid attention to it. But in the referrer column it said, Su Wan. A year and a half ago, I didn't even know Su Wan, but she referred me for the job. I shut my laptop and stared at my own reflection in the black screen. What kind of 4D chess is this? 10 p.m. I sent Su Wan a WeChat. Boss Su, there's something I want to ask you. Go ahead. My internal referrer when I joined was you, right? The typing indicator on her end flashed, then stopped. Stopped, then flashed. Went back and forth 3 times. Finally, she replied with 3 words. We'll talk tomorrow. Talk tomorrow again. This woman, does she just love pushing everything to tomorrow? I didn't press her, but knew exactly. This whole thing is no longer just about an accidental allowance transfer. Thursday morning at the office. Su Wan's office door was shut. The blinds were drawn too. You couldn't see inside. 9:30 a.m. morning meeting as usual. She acted perfectly normal. Talked about project progress. Assigned tasks. Didn't give me an extra glance. Didn't keep me behind after the meeting. She didn't step out all morning. At noon, I went to the pantry for water. Just as I turned the corner, Chen Hao was blocking the way. Standing next to him was someone else. Zhao from HR. Tang Yuan. Zhao waved me over. There's something I need to verify. What is it? Your referral record from when you joined. We're auditing last year's referral bonus payouts. And we noticed in your referrer column, it says Supervisor Su Wan. But Supervisor Su Wan was still at HQ back then. Logically, she wouldn't have known you. Did you two know each other prior? Chen Hao was glaring at me from the side, looking like he was praying I'd admit it right then and there, that we were an item. No, we didn't, I said. When I submitted my resume, I applied online. I don't know why it turned into an internal referral. All right, it might have been an automated system assignment. Zhao jotted something down in her notebook. This has happened before. It wasn't necessarily done manually, so we're good. We're good? I asked. Yes, Thanks for cooperating. Zhao left. Chen Hao didn't. Don't you think this is super fishy? Chen Ro, what exactly are you trying to say? I'm saying he took a step forward. Before Su Wan transferred to our department a year ago. Do you know what her position was at HQ? No. Deputy Director of the HQ Planning Center, managing over 30 people. She was transferred down here, under the guise of supporting the branch. But she was actually pushed out. So, now she's in our department, just laying low. Everything she does has a motive, including being nice to you. I looked at him. You think she's being nice to me for an ulterior motive? Figure it out yourself. He patted my shoulder and walked away. I stood in the pantry. The water in my cup was full. It overflowed. 3 p.m. Su Wan's office door opened. She stepped out and stood in the doorway. Tang Yuan, come in. I followed her inside. She closed the door. The blinds were still drawn. About what you asked me last night. I'll answer you now. I sat up straight. I was the one who pushed your resume through. Why? We didn't know each other. We didn't. But your sister knew me. I froze. Tang Xiaoyu was my client. 2 years ago, she found me online to commission an avatar. We added each other on WeChat. Later, as we chatted, I found out her older brother was looking for a job, and that he was in advertising planning. Our company happened to be hiring. So you referred me. I looked at your portfolio. At your last company, that total brand overhaul you did for the bubble tea chain. It was excellent. Better than most people I've interviewed. Did you see my portfolio first? Or did you know Tang Xiaoyu first? She glanced at me. I knew Tang Xiaoyu first. Then did you refer me? Because of my abilities. Or because of Tang Xiaoyu? Because of your abilities. She answered, without hesitating. Tang Xiaoyu just let me know you existed. But whether to refer you, or hire you, that depended on your work. Then why didn't you tell me? There is no need. Don't you think this feels very what? Very like. I carefully chose my words. Like a carefully orchestrated setup. Su Wan didn't speak. She picked up her thermos and took a sip. After setting it down, she said something I totally didn't expect. You're right. It was a calculated setup. But not against you. For myself. What does that mean? When I was transferred down from HQ, I needed someone I could trust on my team. Your sister spent all day on WeChat, hyping up how reliable her brother was. How genuine you are. I bought it. Just based on what my sister said. Plus your portfolio. She leaned back in her chair. Tang Yuan, are you mad? I didn't say anything. I wasn't mad. It was a feeling I couldn't explain. So, my joining this company, being assigned to this department, being looked after by her, none of it was an accident. But if it wasn't an accident, then what was real? Was the East Side complex a setup too? No, you earned that yourself. What about the networking event? I legitimately needed someone to go with me. What about the $600? She went silent. The $600, she paused. That really was an accidental transfer. I accepted it because... She stopped. This was the first time I'd seen Su Wan stop mid-sentence. Because, what? Because that was the allowance you were giving your sister. Her voice softened. I don't have any sibling. When I saw that 500, it wasn't about the money. It was that feeling of being remembered on time every month. A given, with no strings attached. She didn't finish. But I understood. She wasn't short on money. She was short on the feeling of having someone care about her. The office was quiet for half a minute. I broke the silence. Boss saw. From now on, if you want, I can keep sending the allowance. She looked up at me and smiled. For the 4th time. Do you know what you're saying right now? I do. You're saying to your boss. I'm saying to someone who doesn't have sibling. If she doesn't mind, she can share a little sister's allowance quota. She stared at me for 3 seconds. I don't want an allowance. Then, what do you want? Give me the East Side Complex proposal by tomorrow. She pushed the documents forward. Looking down, her hair covered her face. But I saw the tips of her ears turn red. Friday 4 p.m. I submitted the initial plan for the East Side Complex. Su Wan spent 2 hours reading it, line by line. Then posted a message in the group. The plan is approved overall. Detailed revision notes have been emailed. We'll pitch on Monday. Chen Hao replied in the group with a thumbs up. But that thumbs up definitely wasn't meant as a compliment. When it was time to clock out, Su Wan came out of her office. Stopped by my desk for a second. The plan is well written. Thank you. 2 people from the client side are coming on Monday. One is their planning director, Zhao Minjuan. The other is the VP of marketing, Zhao Minjuan. Likes to nitpick the details. Make sure you have your data models ready. Understood. She took 2 steps and turned back around. Don't pull an all-nighter this weekend. Okay. She left. Next to me, Zhao Lei let out an extremely faint, but extremely genuine, "T-ski." I pretended I didn't hear it. I didn't pull an all-nighter over the weekend. But I basically worked from morning till night. Ran 3 versions of the data model for the East Side complex. Each version built upon the last. Running extra sets of parameters. Monday morning, 9 a.m. Pitch time. 3 people from the client side showed up. One more than Su Wan had anticipated. There was Zhao Mingyuan, in his early 40s, wearing glasses, who immediately started flipping through the proposal index. Another young guy, his assistant, the third person didn't sit down, stood by the window looking at the view. A middle-aged man in a sharp suit. From the back, he looked to be in his 50s. I glanced at Su Wan. Her expression had changed. It wasn't nervousness. It was a flash of alertness that she quickly suppressed. I recognized that back from the networking event last Saturday. Zhao Jianguo, one of Oceanic Real Estate's shareholders, and the VP of the Industry Association, and the person who, according to Su Wan, used dirty tricks to steal her father's share. He turned around and smiled at Su Wan. Xiao Wan, mind if I sit in and listen? As it happens, I have a stake in the East Side Complex project too. Su Wan paused for only half a second. Welcome. Please have a seat. The pitch began. I took the lead. Su Wan chipped in when needed. 20 minutes in, everything was going smoothly. Zhao Mingyuan was very satisfied with the data model. He asked several technical details back to back, and I answered them all. When we got to the promotional strategy section, Joy Yangguo spoke up. Mr. Tang, right? He flipped through his printed copy. There's a community engagement plan in this strategy. The estimated data conversion rate is 12. Where did you get this number? Actually, Su Wan and I had role-played this exact question. I could explain the data source perfectly clearly. This data is based on 3 reference case studies. I know it's a reference. He cut me off. What I'm asking is, among the reference cases, is there one that completely matches the scale of the East Side complex? There's about a 10% variance in scale. Then this 12% is inaccurate. He closed the printed copy. Strictly speaking, it's unscientific. Zhao Mingyuan pushed up his glasses and said nothing. I opened my mouth to explain, and felt Su Wan lightly brush my hand under the table. President Zhou makes a fair point. Su Wan took over. 12% is the result of the preliminary model. During actual execution we will run phased validation. Page 23 of the proposal details the adjustment mechanism. If President Zhou would turn to that page. Choi Yangguo didn't turn the page. He looked at Su Wan. Xiao Wan. I'm not trying to nitpick. I genuinely feel that for a project of this caliber, your team, he glanced at me, might need to mature a bit more. Su Wan's response was swift. Our team is indeed young. But the advantage of being young is we don't use old methods to solve new problems. The meeting room was quiet for a brief moment. Zhao Mingyuan chose that moment to speak up. We'll take this. We'll discuss it internally for a round. Boss Su, Mr. Tang, good job. The pitch ended. After seeing the clients off, Su Wan stopped me in the hallway. You did well today. Zhou Yangguo found a hole in IT. It doesn't count as a hole. More like a difference in perspective. He didn't actually care if it was 12% or 11. He came to see me. See you about what? To see if I was doing well at this branch. She walked into her office. The better I do, the more pissed off he is. Why? Because the higher my chances of returning to HQ. She sat down and didn't say anything else. But those words were like a seed, planted in my brain. She's going back to HQ. She's always wanted to go back to HQ. Then what about me? What do I do if she goes back to HQ? Got back to the rental that night. Li Zhang was making instant noodles. Grab an egg for me, he said without looking back. I grabbed an egg from the fridge and handed it to him. Leaned against the kitchen doorframe, spacing out. What's wrong now? He asked while stirring the noodles. Nothing. You've been talking less and less lately. He turned off the stove. Does it have to do with that female boss of yours? How did you know? You were talking in your sleep the other night. Called out, boss, so. I'm taping my mouth shut when I sleep from now on. Spill. What's the situation? I ran through everything in my head. The accidental transfer she purposely didn't refund. The mug. The networking event. Zhao Yangguo. The internal referral. Tang Xiaoyu. Being her client. Her being pushed out of HQ down to the branch. Every single thing, taken individually, has a logical explanation. But, put together, it always feels like there's a crucial missing puzzle piece. Let me ask you one question. Li Zhang brought his noodles to the dining table. Is she good to you? Yeah, I guess. Is she good to others? Average. Well, there you go. He slurped a mouthful of noodles and mumbled. If someone treats you better than they treat others, either they need something from you, or they care about you. What do you think she needs from me? The East Side Complex. That was an opportunity she gave you. She wasn't begging you for it. Think again. I can't think of anything. Then, it's the second option. He said that, and took his bowl away. Tuesday was entirely peaceful. Su Wan stayed in her office all day. Only came out once to take a call. Speaking in a foreign language. I couldn't catch what it was about. Chen Hao was also well-behaved all day. He rushed out 3 versions of the Shanhe proposal, and all of them got rejected by Su Wan. Around 5 p.m., I received an email. Sender, Wang Mingyuan, VP of the company. The content was just one line. Tang Yuan. Come to my office at 2 p.m. on Friday. Didn't say what it was about. I asked Su Wan, she didn't know either. VP Wang is looking for you. She frowned. For what? The email didn't say. Okay, I'll ask around for you by Thursday night. Su Wan sent me a WeChat. I asked VP Wang. He said it's a routine chat. Don't be nervous. A routine chat. I've been here a year and a half, and I've never been routinely chatted with by the VP. Friday at 2 p.m., I knocked on Wang Mingguan's office door and went in. VP Wang was in his early 40s, tall, hair a bit thinning. There was a handkerchief for golf clubs on his desk. Have a seat. Thanks, VP Wang. Tang Yuan. Right. Been with the company for a year and a half. Yes. The proposal for the East Side Complex was well done. I read it. Thank you. But I didn't call you in here today to talk about that. He leaned back in his chair, hands folded over his stomach. There's a situation I'd like to understand. Go ahead, someone reported. He paused. That you and Supervisor Su Wan have a relationship that exceeds normal collegial bounds. What are your thoughts on that? I knew Chen Hao had gone and snitched. VP Wang. That's not true. Elaborate. Boss Su taking me to the industry networking event was a normal work assignment. Last quarter she took Liu Ting from marketing. The East Side Complex project assignment has an email trail. It was based on competency evaluations. As for private interactions, I paused. There are none. Wang Mingyuan looked at me for a few seconds. Tang Yuan, let me ask you a question. Answer me honestly. Has Su Wan ever mentioned to you about her returning to HQ? I didn't expect him to ask that. Really, no. She mentioned the possibility of returning to HQ once, but no concrete details. Wang Mingyuan nodded. HQ is indeed considering transferring her back. She's been at the branch for a year. Her performance is obvious to everyone. Word from the top is next quarter at the earliest. What does that have to do with me? It has everything to do with you. He sat up straight. After she leaves, R&D Depth 2 will need a new head. Upper management has 2 candidates. One is Chen Hao. The other is you. I froze. I've been here a year and a half. Chen Hao has been here for 3 years. VP Wang. My seniority. Seniority isn't the only criteria. He waved his hand. Ability, performance, project experience. We look at all of that. But there is one prerequisite. You and Su Wan's relationship must be completely clean. If there's any hint of exchanging favors or work assignments influenced by a personal relationship, not only are you out of the running, Su Wan's transfer will be affected too. I understand. He stood up. Figure out what you need to do yourself. Pretend we never had this conversation today. But, keep it in mind. I walked out of the VP's office and stood in the hallway for a full minute. Chen Hao's snitching was real, but Wang Mingyuan didn't exactly call me in for an innocent chat today either. He was drawing a line in the sand for me, while also dropping a total bomb. Suwan is leaving. Back on our department's floor, I saw the lights in Suwan's office were still on. She was standing by the window, back facing the glass wall, looking lost in thought. I didn't go in, just went back to my desk. After hours, everyone had left. I was the only one left tweaking the data model. Suwan's office door opened and she walked out, still tweaking the model. What did VP Wang say to you? I looked up. Her expression held a little something more than usual. Couldn't exactly put my finger on it. Maybe concern, he said. You're heading back to HQ. Suwan's footsteps paused. What else did he say? Said Chen Hao and I are the candidates to replace you. What else? And that you and I have to be completely clean. She didn't say anything. It was dead silent for maybe 10 seconds. Then she pulled up a chair and sat down across from me. Tang Yuan, do you think we're clean? I looked at her. Most of the office lights were off. Only a lamp at my desk was on. The light hit her face. Half in light, half in shadow. I don't know. I told the truth. I don't know either, she said. Another few seconds of silence. But I do know one thing, she started. Her voice was lower than usual. What? If I go back to HQ? Not if. It'll most likely be next quarter. I'm going to recommend you take over R&D Dep 2. Not because you sent me 5 months of allowance. And not because I drew Tang Xiaoyu's avatar. It's because your proposals are genuinely the best. Chen Hao won't go for that. Chen Hao's opinion doesn't matter, as long as Wang Mingyuan agrees. Wang Mingyuan's attitude today. He was testing the waters. Su Wan cut me off. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. Deliver results on the East Side complex. Don't worry about the rest. What about you? What about me? After you go back to HQ, I paused. Didn't know how to ask. After you go back, will I still see you? After you go back, can I still send you allowance money? Both of those questions were way too stupid. After you go back, what are you gonna do about Zhou Jiangguo? She froze for a second. Probably didn't expect me to ask that. Going back to HQ is exactly how I deal with him. She stood up. It's getting too late today. Let's go. She packed her bag. I shut down my computer. The two of us walked out of the building, one after the other. At the entrance, she asked, how are you getting back? Subway, then bus. I'll give you a ride. It's on the way. No need. She turned to look at me. Is it because of what VP Wang said? No, I thought about it. I just want to walk for a bit. She didn't push it, just nodded. Got in her car. It drove about 10 meters and stopped. The window rolled down. Tang Yuan, are you still using that mug? I am. Don't break it. The window rolled up. The car drove off. I stood on the curb watching the taillights fade away. Suddenly, felt a tightness in my chest. It wasn't pain. It was the feeling of losing something. Before you even had time to figure it out. Over the next 2 weeks, everything hit the gas pedal. The East Side Complex proposal entered its second round of revisions. The client gave us 17 points of feedback. Su Wan and I pulled 4 all-nighters tweaking 8. Meanwhile, Chen Hao's Shanhe project was tanking. The client was extremely unhappy with his version 2. Literally slammed the table in his face. During our internal company meeting, VP Wang specifically shouted out the East Side Complex. Tang Yuan's team is highly efficient. Every department should learn from them. Chen Hao was sitting in the back, his face practically green. The day after the meeting, something happened. I got to the office in the morning and noticed someone had messed with my computer. The files on my desktop were out of order. I checked the login logs. Someone used my work computer at 3 a.m., logged in with my account. But I was sound asleep in my apartment at that time. I went to Xiao Zhao in IT, asked him to look into it. Half an hour later, Xiao Zhao got back to me. Tang, bro. At 3 a.m. Someone logged into your account on your PC. Open the East Side Complex proposal folder. Did they download it? Can't confirm that. But a USB drive was plugged in. The plug-in history shows it. Someone stole my proposal. My first thought was Chen Hao, but I had no proof. I went to Su Wan. The proposal got leaked. She looked up. Her expression instantly turned dead serious. What happened? I told her what it found. After listening, she immediately picked up the phone. Xiao Zhou, pull up the security footage for that desk. What? No footage. Our department's hallway camera broke 3 days ago, and it hasn't been fixed yet. Su Wan put the phone down. Who do you suspect? Hard to say without proof. Then I'll just say it. She looked at me. Chen Hao. I didn't answer. Which basically meant yes. If the proposal was leaked to a competitor, we just lost the East Side complex. She stood up. But without evidence, we can't alert the snake in the grass. Change the key parts of the proposal first. Swap out the core data. Adjust the strategy framework. If we submit a 100% changed version to the client, all the perfect details we had before will have to be redone. That's still better than letting someone else use our stuff to pitch against us. She was right. I spent 2 days and 2 nights rewriting the core section, modifying it, not tearing it down completely, but keeping the framework intact, while swapping out the data backbone and execution paths. Basically the same skeleton, but totally different muscles. If someone uses the old version to pitch, as soon as they present it, they'll realize it's completely different from our final version. Then it'll be crystal clear who copied who. On the 3rd day, the results came in. On the bidding list, for the East Side complex, a new company was added. Ruida Advertising. Ruida's planning director is named Ma Cheng. He worked at our company for half a year back in the day, and is super tight with Chen Hao. Su Wan laughed when she saw the list. It wasn't a happy laugh. Just as I thought, she picked up the phone and called Zhao Minjuan. President Zhao, about the pitch, there's something I need to tell you in person. If it's convenient, let's meet this afternoon, 3 p.m. Su Wan and I arrived at Oceanic Real Estate. Zhao Minjuan received us in his office. Su Wan didn't beat around the bush. President Zhao, Ruida Advertising is a recent addition to the pitch, right? That's right. They just submitted their letter of intent last week. Why? Have you seen their proposal? Not yet. Official pitches are next Monday. Su Wan opened her laptop, pulled up my old proposal and the new one side by side, and placed it in front of Zhao Minjuan. These are 2 versions of our proposal. The old one is the first draft from 2 weeks ago. The new one is the final version we locked in yesterday. The core strategy underwent major adjustments. Zhao Minjuan looked at both versions, pushed up his glasses. That's a pretty massive overhaul. Why so many changes? Because we have reason to believe the old version was leaked. Su Wan showed him the screenshot of the USB plug-in logs. These are our internal IT logs. Someone got onto my colleague's computer and stole the old draft. Zhao Mingyuan's expression shifted. Are you implying? I'm implying. If the proposal Ruida submits next Monday is highly identical to our old draft, that's no coincidence. Zhao Mingyuan stayed silent for 10 seconds. Boss, Su, that is a very serious accusation. I know, which is why I'm not here to ask you to make a judgment today. I'm just asking you to keep a close eye out when the time comes. After leaving Oceanic Real Estate, Su Wan sat in her car for a bit, without starting the engine. What are you thinking about? I asked, thinking about why Chen Hao would do this. To fight for the director's spot? Doh. If the East Side complex tanks, I won't have a solid case study to my name, and the director's spot naturally goes to him. Then why didn't he just focus on doing a good job with Shanhe? Because he can't. Su Wan gave me a look, and suddenly smiled. You don't talk much usually, but you hit the nail on the head when it counts. Learn it from you. She didn't respond to that. Just started the car. The heater was blowing warm air in the car. It was drizzling outside. She dropped me off at the intersection closest to the subway. Tang Yuan, yeah? The pitch next Monday? Are you ready? Born ready. If we win. She stared at the red light ahead. I'll treat you to Japanese food. That same place as last time. Not necessarily. The light turned green. Depends on my mood. I got out of the car. The rain was getting heavier. By the time I ran to the subway entrance, I was half soaked. Standing at the entrance, watching her car merge into traffic. In that moment, something suddenly clicked for me. From the very beginning, from the day I accidentally transferred that allowance, everything was like a chain of clues. one link connecting to the next. Tang Xiaoyu, the orange cat avatar, the internal referral, East Side Complex, Zhou Jianguo, Chen Hao, the leaked proposal. If you pulled Su Wan out of this chain, none of this would have happened. But if you leave her in the chain, every single thing points in the same direction. Monday, pitch day. There were 6 people sitting in Oceanic Real Estate's main conference room. Zhao Mingjuan, his assistant, the VP of Marketing, Legal, and Zhao Jianguo. 3 agencies were pitching. Us, Ruida, and a small out-of-town agency. Drawing lots for the order, Ruida went first. We were second. The 3rd agency went last. Ruida's Ma Cheng, a tall, lanky guy, went into the conference room with 2 assistants. They pitched for 45 minutes. I was sitting in the waiting area outside, so I couldn't hear what they were saying. But Su Wan's network was wider than mine. She had an old colleague in Oceanic's legal department, who snapped a photo of Ruida's core pitch slide for her. Su Wan scrolled through it on her phone, and handed the phone to me without a word. I looked at the strategy framework. It was over 80% similar to my old draft. The data points backing it up. In some places, even the typos were identical. In the old draft, I accidentally typed penetration rate as comprehension rate. Theirs also said comprehension rate. Hard proof. Are you nervous? Su Wan put her phone away. Nope, I'm a little nervous, she said. This was the first time she ever admitted to being nervous in front of me. Boss Su, no matter what the result is today, call me Su Wan. I paused for a second. Su Wan, no matter what the result is today, this proposal is the best one I've ever made. She nodded. Then that's enough. Let's go, Inni. I delivered the most important pitch of my life. Standing in Oceanic Real Estate's conference room, facing 6 people, talking from the first slide to the last. An hour and 5 minutes. Zhao Mingyuan asked 7 questions throughout. I answered all of them with solid logic and data. The VP of Marketing was highly impressed with the execution plan for the community engagement strategy. Legal confirmed its compliance. Zhou Jianguo didn't say a single word, didn't utter a peep from start to finish. He just sat there looking at me, and looking at Su Wan standing next to me. The pitch ended. We walked out of the conference room. In the elevator, Su Wan suddenly held out her hand. I froze for a second, then took it. Her palm was sweaty. We held hands for about 2 seconds, then let go. You pitched well, she said. Thanks. Now we wait for the results. As we were walking out of the Oceanic building, someone called out to us from behind. Su Wan. It was Zhou Jianguo. He was standing alone on the step, hands in his coat pockets. Your eye for talent, he glanced at me, is better than your dad's. Su Wan turned around. Uncle Zhao, why didn't you speak up in the meeting today? Nothing to say. He walked down the steps to eye level with us. The proposal really is solid. That's all. That's all. He paused. But, Xiao Wan, about you returning to HQ, are you sure you're ready? He turned and walked away. Su Wan stood there looking in the direction he left for a long time. Let's go, I said. She snapped out of it. Let's go. This time she didn't offer me a ride. We went our separate ways. Wednesday, the pitch results came out. Zhao Mingyuan called personally. Boss Su, congratulations, your team won the bid for the East Side Complex. Su Wan said, thank you, and hung up. Then she walked out of her office, stood in front of my desk. Just 2 words. Zhao Lai was the first to react, slapped the table. Sick. The other colleagues chimed in with congratulations. Chen Hao wasn't at his desk. Around noon, word got around. Rita Advertising, because their proposal was suspected of plagiarism, was blacklisted from Oceanic Real Estate's vendor list. Zhao Mingyuan also told Su Wan something else on the phone. Your old draft and Ruta's pitch were way too similar. We discussed it internally. We suggest you take legal action. Legal action. 3 p.m. Our company's HR and legal departments were waiting for Chen Hao in the conference room. When Chen Hao pushed the door open and came in, he saw Su Wan and me sitting inside. His face instantly drained of color. The legal reps laid the evidence on the table. The USB plug-in logs, the proposal comparison report, the unique typo from the old draft, appearing verbatim in Ruita's proposal. Chen Hao, how do you explain this? His lips were dry. He licked them. Coincidence. Both of you typing comprehension rates, exactly the same as a coincidence too. Su Wan asked. He didn't say anything. The whole investigation lasted an hour and a half. Chen Hao finally confessed. He used a spare key to get into the office. Guessed my computer password. It was my birthday. So stupid. Copied the proposal and sent it to Ma Kao. I've been in this department for 3 years. 3 years? He suddenly started yelling. You've been here a year and you're stepping all over me. What gives you the right? He pointed at Su Wan. Because of you and her. Chen Hao. Wang Mingyuan's voice came from the doorway. Who knows when the VP showed up? You're fired. Effective, immediately. Pack your things and get out. Chen Hao's face went from pale to ashen. He opened his mouth, but couldn't get any words out. Stood up and walked out. As he passed by me, he paused for a second. You won, but you won't get far. I ignored him, and he left. The conference room was quiet for a bit. Wang Mingyuan looked at Su Wan and said to me, the handling of this matter ends here. Tang Yuan, do a good job with the East Side complex. Su Wan. He paused. Your transfer order comes down next week. Su Wan's expression didn't change. Understood. Wang Mingyuan left. It was just me and Su Wan left in the conference room. Next week? I said. Next week. So that Japanese food we agreed on. Tonight. She glanced at me. Does tonight work? It works. We didn't go to that same spot last time. Su Wan picked a nicer place. A Japanese club on the 27th floor in the CBD. Requires a reservation. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows was the exact skyline I'd seen in her moments. Your place is right around here. I recalled the angle of that post. Not far. The food arrived dish by dish. We ate for a while without really talking. Finally, she spoke first. Tang Yuan. After I leave. About me recommending you for a director. VP Wang already tipped me off. I'm not talking about that. Then what? She put down her chopsticks. Those 5 months of allowance money, I never returned it to you. Didn't you say we were even? The mug was just interest. She pulled her phone out of her bag and opened the payment. I've kept the principal the whole time. 600, not a penny less. I looked at the number on the screen. You ever spent it? No. She pushed the phone toward me. I wanted to return it to you, but could never find a good excuse. Why do you need an excuse? Because once I return it, this is really over. I put down my chopsticks and looked at her. The 27th floor night view was behind her, lit up by the entire city. Su Wan, you don't need to return this money. Why? Because I was just thinking about it. If it weren't for those accidental transfers, I probably would have never said more than 20 sentences to you. My entire life. She looked at me. So this too, 600, is the most well-spent money of my life. She didn't move for several seconds. Then she picked up a piece of salmon and put it in her mouth, mumbling something I almost didn't catch. I think it's well spent too. After eating, she dropped me off at the subway entrance. This time, I didn't refuse. The car pulled over. The window rolled down. R&D Dep 2 is in your hands. I'm not worried. Then, at HQ, I have things to do. She glanced at the distant skyline. Zhou Yangguo's dirty tricks. It's time to dismantle them one by one. You're one person against, not just one person. She looked at me. I found someone I can trust at the branch. I didn't say anything. Hit me up anytime you need something. No need to send allowance money. She paused. Sending it works too. I'm not returning it. With that, she rolled up the window. The car drove off. I stood by the road watching the taillights disappear. This time I stood there even longer than before. The wind was strong. I pulled up my collar and walked into the subway station. The day Su Wan left was a Friday. No farewell dinner. No grand ceremony. She packed her last box at 4 p.m. and sent a message in the department group. Colleagues, starting next Monday, R&D Dep 2 will be under the acting leadership of Tang Yuan. Work tasks will continue as usual. Bring up any issues in the group anytime. Thank you all for this period. Until we meet again. A string of take care Boss Su flooded the chat. Thank you Boss Su. I replied with 2 words. Take care. She didn't reply to me individually. At 4:30, I saw her walking toward the elevator with her box. I ran out after her. Su Wan. She turned around. I took the mug with me. That was for you. No, I mean, this is for you. She took a paper bag from on top of her box and handed it to me. I opened it. An original hand-drawn illustration of an orange cat. A4 size, already framed. Exactly the same as the one on the WeChat avatar, but with an extra line of handwritten text. Third one in existence. I stood in the hallway, holding the frame, watching the elevator doors close in front of her. Tang Yuan. Good luck on Monday. The doors shut. I looked down at the drawing. The orange cat was grinning at. The third one in existence. The first one went to Tang Xiaoyu. The second one she kept. And the third one was for me. I carried the frame back to my desk, placed it on the table, right next to the orange cat mug. Zhao Lai peeked over the cubicle divider. Tang, bro, you got a whole cat-themed workspace going on. Yeah, cat-themed. I sat down and opened my laptop. Changed my desktop wallpaper to that orange cat. Just over a month ago, I was still stressing over $600. Now, Su Wan is gone, leaving me with a director position, a framed drawing, and something I hadn't even had the chance to say out loud yet. But it's fine. She said to hit her up anytime. Sending allowance works too. She won't return it. My first week taking over R&D Dep 2, I thought it would be tough. It was actually way harder than I imagined. Chen Hao left, and left behind a massive mess. The fifth version of the Shanhe proposal still wasn't hitting the mark. The client was already threatening to switch agencies. Zhao Lai and the other two colleagues had decent execution skills, but without a veteran setting the pace. I had to personally oversee a lot of things. The East Side Complex project entered the execution phase. The client held weekly sync meetings. Zhao Minyuan was getting stricter and stricter. On my busiest day, I had 4 meetings with the client. Only managed to squeeze in a piece of bread and coffee. Got back to the rental at 10 p.m. Li Zhang was already asleep. I showered and lay in bed scrolling through my phone. There was a new post on Su Wan's Moments. A photo of the HQ office building. Caption, I'm back. A dozen or so likes below it. And a comment from Zhou Jianguo. Welcome back. That welcome back didn't look well-intentioned from any angle. I thought about it and sent Su Wan a WeChat. How's HQ? Waited 5 minutes. She replied, still testing the waters. How are things on your end? The Shanhe client is about to bolt. Zhao Lai can't handle them. His technical skills are fine, but he's terrible at client relations. Before letting him interface with them, have him nail down the competitor analysis. Didn't the client say the previous proposal lacked highlights? The highlight isn't the creative, it's the data differentiation. I left a competitor database, previously, in the department's shared drive. D drive, 3rd level folder. I went and looked. Sure enough, there was a comprehensive competitor database, covering 6 years of data trends for the same category. When did you make this? When I first got to the branch last year, made it when I had nothing to do. She made a database this massive, just because she had nothing to do. I felt like I suddenly understood again just how lonely she was during her first year at the branch. Thanks, don't mention it. Su Wan at HQ. Is Zhou Yangguo putting pressure on you? Her typing indicator flashed for a long time. Finally she sent, I can handle it. I know I can handle it usually means it's really tough, but I don't want you to worry. If you need help, just say the word. Okay, get some sleep. Another 2 weeks passed. The East Side Complex entered the on-the-ground execution phase. I brought Zhao Lei and 2 others to work on site for a week, overseeing every single aspect of the community engagement event. The results were better than expected. The day the data for the first batch of events came out, Zhao Mingyuan personally sent me a WeChat. Conversion rate 14.7, even higher than the 12% in your proposal. I took a screenshot of that number and sent it to Su Wan. She replied with 1 word, sick. Then sent a second message, Tang Yuan. There's something I need to talk to you about. I've run into some issues at HQ. Zhou Jianguo is pushing an M&A deal. He wants to merge your branch's planning business line into a new company he controls. If the M&A goes through, your entire R&D Dep 2 will be restructured. I put down my phone, restructured. I finally start delivering results. And now the whole department might cease to exist. Does VP Wang know? Wang Mingyuan's stance is unclear right now. He's getting pressure from the top too. Then what do we do? You just do your job. The better the numbers for the East Side Complex, the higher the branch's value, and the lower the chance of being merged. Just focus on that, for now. I'll figure out a way from HQ for the rest. She didn't say anything else. I put my phone on the table, sat in the hotel's on-site office for a long time. Outside the window was the East Side Complex construction site, a forest of scaffolding. A few high-rises had already topped out. I poured 3 months of my blood, sweat, and tears into this project. I can't let it go to waste. For the next month, I pushed the East Side Complex to the absolute limit, personally followed up on every single on-the-ground evento, double-checked every single set of data. When the data for the second batch of events came out, the overall conversion rate hit 16.3. Among projects of the same volume, that ranked top 5 in the industry. Zhao Mingyuan, during one of the sync meetings, said something in front of everyone. I've been in this industry for 17 years. I've seen my fair share of planning teams. Tang Yuan's team is the most rock-solid I've ever seen, bar none. That quote made its way to Wang Mingyuan's ears. Wang Mingyuan passed it on to HQ. HQ passed it to Zhao Jianguo's ears. Zhao Yanguo's M&A deal was shelved that same week. Not withdrawn, shelved, because the branch's performance was too damn good. Upper management had no grounds to approve the M&A. Su Wan called me, not a WeChat audio call, an actual phone call. You saved all of R&D debt too. It wasn't just my doing. There was Zhao Lei and the others. But you carried the East Side Complex on your shoulders. Your competitor database gets credit too. She went quiet for a second. Tang Yuan. Yay. I feel like I owe you more and more. You don't owe me anything. Are you free this Saturday? Then, what do you mean? I'm coming back for a trip. My hand unconsciously gripped the phone tighter. For what? To treat you to dinner. I still haven't treated you to that Japanese food I promised. You're flying all the way from HQ just to treat me to dinner. Not just for that. I have some work matters to handle. While I'm at it. While you're at it. She always says, while I'm at it. Like all the nice things she does for me are just while she's at it. Okay. Let's go back to that place on the 27th floor. Okay. After hanging up, I realized I was standing up. I had no idea when I even stood up. Li Jiang was gaming across from me and said, "You're smiling like an idiot." I quickly wiped the look off my face. Saturday, 5 p.m. I arrived at the Japanese restaurant. Su Wan was already there. She looked a bit different. Cut her hair short, right down to her chin. New haircut? HQ is fast-paced. Long hair is too much of a hassle to maintain. Looks good. She didn't respond to that. Looked down at the menu. After the food came, we chatted about some company stuff. The political games at HQ were way more complex than at the branch. Zhao Yanguo didn't just control one company. His influence in the industry association extended to every link of the supply chain. Taking him down would require a step-by-step approach. Does he know you're going after him now? Of course. He's always known. She picked up a piece of tuna. But he's not sure what I have on him. What do you have on him? A few things. She brushed it off vaguely. It's not enough yet. Still missing a key piece of you. She looked at me. Do you trust me? I do. Then don't ask. You'll know when the time comes. Halfway through the meal, she put down her chopsticks. Tang Yuan, you've changed a lot in the past 6 months. How so? You talk more, she said. I thought about it. She was right. Before, around her, I only spoke 17 sentences in a year and a half. Now I can knock out 17 sentences in one meal. You've changed, too. How have I changed? You've never asked me, do you trust me? Before. Stuff like that. She didn't answer. Took a sip of water. One more thing. She pulled an envelope out of her bag. I need your help with the Zhao Jianguo situation. I took the envelope and opened it. It was a document. An internal financial audit summary from Oceanic Real Estate. What is this? Zhao Jianguo's investments in Oceanic Real Estate are shady. He moved funds through related party transactions. Zhao Mingyuan found some leads. But he doesn't dare escalate it directly. Because Zhu Jianguo has people on the board. How did you get this? Zhao Mingyuan trusts you. She looked at me. During the East Side Complex project, you established a very solid working relationship with him. He gave this to you. Through me, he gave it to me. He said if someone has to come forward and blow the whistle on this, he wants it to be someone who has No direct conflict of interest with Zhao Jianguo. He doesn't want it to be seen as. But me? An outsider. While executing the East Side Complex project, you stumbled upon financial anomalies on the client's side. Reporting it to the relevant authorities out of professional ethics is totally justified. I looked at the document. There's risk involved in this. She didn't hide it. But there's also a payoff. If Zhou Jianguo goes down, Oceanic Real Estate's new management will remember. The East Side Complex has a Phase 2 and Phase 3. It'll all be yours. I don't care about that. Then what do you care about? If this gets traced back to, was this your plan all along? No. She pushed the envelope toward me. I've been walking this tightrope for 2 years. From the day he pushed me out of HQ, I've been preparing. Every step has been clean. 2 years. Her coming to the branch wasn't a demotion. It was a setup. I looked into her eyes and suddenly felt that the person in front of me was sharper than any version of her I thought I knew. Tang Yuan, you can choose not to help. This didn't have anything to do with you in the first place. What do you mean? It has nothing to do with me. I put the envelope in my bag. You spent 2 years digging a grave for that guy. I spent 5 months sending you allowance money. Our relationship has been tangled up since the very first transfer. She froze for a second, then smiled. For the 5th time. Wait, no. 6th time. I realized I'd lost count. Okay. She stood up. Then I'll head back. There's an important meeting at HQ next week. I'll walk you out and call you a cab. No need. She grabbed her bag, walked to the door and turned back around. Tang Yuan, have you been sending your sister allowance money lately? 500 every month. On time. You sure you aren't sending it to the wrong person? I triple check every time. Good. She pushed the door open. After all, there are only 3 of those avatars online. If you send it wrong again, you won't get it back. The door closed. I sat alone by the window on the 27th floor. Outside was that same skyline. That document was sitting right in my bag. I knew that the moment I took it, I went from a regular ad planner to a pawn in this game of chess. But Su-Wan wasn't using me. She was trusting me. What's the difference between trust and being used? It's that she said, you can choose not to help. Someone using you won't give you a choice. I downed the last sip of sake in my cup and headed downstairs. The next day, I contacted Zhao Minjuan. President Zhao, I looked over the materials. I'd like to talk to you in person. Wednesday noon. Usual spot. Wednesday noon. I met him at a cafe near Oceanic Real Estate. I met Zhao Minjuan. He looked thinner than last time, with heavy dark circles behind his glasses. Tang Yuan, I'll say this up front. I'm giving you these materials in my personal capacity. It has nothing to do with Oceanic Real Estate's official stance. Understood. Zhou Jianguo used a shell company called Jinghong during the construction procurement phase of the East Side Complex to make over 20 million in inflated purchases. A portion of this money flowed back into his personal accounts. The evidence is solid. The financial data checks out, but go through the whistleblowing process. It needs to be submitted to the Industry Association's Regulatory Committee. Coincidentally, the head of the Regulatory Committee is Zhao Jianguo's college classmate. Then going through legal channels works, but it requires a whistleblower and people inside Oceanic. No one wants to stick their neck out, so you're looking for an outsider, and I'm the perfect fit. During your execution of the East Side Complex, you have a plausible path of discovery. I can assist you, provide procurement contracts and payment vouchers. But the signature on the whistleblower letter has to be yours. I leaned back and thought for a moment. President Zhao, let me ask a personal question. Why do you want to take down Zhou Jianguo? Zhao Minjuan took off his glasses and wiped them. 5 years ago, when he forced Su-Wan's father out of the company, I had just joined Oceanic Real Estate. Su-Wan's dad, Su Ji-Wan, was my interviewer. He was one of the few genuinely clean people I've ever met in this industry. So this is repaying a debt. You could say that. He put his glasses back on. Tang Yuan, whether you're willing to do this or not, I won't force you. But you need to know, if we don't act, Zhao Yangguo will swallow up your branch sooner or later. He shelved the M in a deal for now. That doesn't mean he's given up. Once the heat around the East Side Complex dies down, he'll come back for it. I know very well this isn't a question of whether or not to do it. It's a question of doing it now or later. I'll do it, I said. Zhao Mingyuan let out a long breath. I'll prep the materials on my end. You draft the whistleblower letter on yours. We'll submit them together in a week, okay? On the way back to the office, I sent Suwan a message. It's a go. Submitting in a week. She replied with 3 words. Stay safe. I know. The weight of those 3 words was much heavier than get some good rest. A week later, the whistleblower letter was submitted through a lawyer to the market regulatory authorities. Zhao Mingyuan simultaneously submitted Oceanic Real Estate's internal procurement audit report. The day after it was sent, there was total radio silence. Nothing on the 3rd day either. On the 4th day, I got a call from an unknown number. Is this Mr. Tang Yuan speaking? Hi, I'm President Zhou Jianguo's secretary. President Zhou would like to invite you to lunch. If it's convenient, tomorrow noon. My back stiffened. Regarding what? President Zhou says he just wants to chat. I hung up the phone and immediately called Su Wan. She said 3 words. Don't go. Why? He wants to see you alone. It's either to pressure you or buy you off. Either way, you can't meet with him. Once you meet, he can claim you guys negotiated, and he'll muddy the waters. Then I'll just refuse. Don't refuse. Tell his secretary. Any communication can go through your lawyer. I did as she said. Another 3 days passed. The regulatory authorities sent an official reply. A formal investigation was opened. The news spread much faster than I imagined. That afternoon, Wang Mingyuan called me into his office. His expression was complicated. Hard to tell if he was happy or nervous. Tang Yuan, do you know what you've done? I do. I blew the whistle on the Industry Association VP's related party transactions. Do you know what that means? It means he might go down. And it also means I might get retaliated against. Wang Mingyuan looked at me for a good while. Did Su Wan tell you to do this? You shouldn't be asking that. I answered harsher than he expected. What you should be asking is whether the evidence is true. He went silent. It's true, he finally said. I've seen it. Then there's no need to ask anything else. Wang Mingyuan leaned back in his chair, suddenly looking like a weight had been lifted off him. Tang Yuan, you've got more guts than I did at your age. Back then, when Su Jiwan was pushed out, I wanted to speak up, but I didn't. It's not too late to speak up now. He looked at me, then nodded. All right, I'll back you up. I'll get the materials on the branch's end in order. When I walked out of the VP's office, I knew there was no turning back now. Zhou Jianguo probably knew it too, because the next day, someone showed up at my rental apartment door. It was Ma Cheng from Ruida, the guy who stole my proposal. Chen Hao's buddy. He was wearing a wrinkled jacket, no expression on his face. Tang Yuan, what are you doing here? Passing on a message, he leaned against the wall. President Zhou says there's still room to turn this around. You withdraw the complaint, and he'll let bygones be bygones. You can have phase 2 and 3 of the East Side complex at a premium price. You're acting as his messenger. I owe him a favor. He sighed. Tang Yuan, I'll be honest with you. A little planner like you going up against Zhou Jianguo. Are you sure you can win? Do you still have my proposal on you? He froze for a second, deleted it all. Then you can leave. Tell Zhou Jianguo the complaint won't be withdrawn. If he wants to send another messenger, next time, talk directly to my lawyer. Ma Cheng looked at me for a good while, then turned and walked away. After 2 steps, he suddenly turned back. Do you know? Su Wan's dad was just like you back in the day. Fearless, uncompromising, ended up getting screwed so hard, he couldn't even walk through his own company's doors. And then, there is no, and then, just giving you a heads up. He left. I stood at my apartment door, clenched my fists, and made a call to Zhou Jianguo. Sent someone. Her voice instantly shifted. What kind of person? Ma Cheng told me to withdraw the complaint. What did you say? Told him to get lost. She went quiet for a few seconds. Tang Yuan, you can come back to HQ. What? I requested a position at HQ. Senior Supervisor of the Planning Center. This role reports directly to me. If you come, you won't have to stay at the branch and be a target. Su Wan, if I leave, what happens to the branch? What happens to the East Side complex? We can coordinate remotely. You know that won't work. She stopped talking. Su Wan, When you first came to the branch, someone wanted you gone. Did you leave? No. Then I'm not leaving either. Silence on both ends of the line. You. Her tone changed to something else. Couldn't tell if it was exasperation or something else. Why are you just as stubborn as your sister says you are? Runs in the Tang family. She didn't try to persuade me anymore. Then be careful. Call me anytime if anything actually happens. Don't try to be a hero. I hung up. I sat on the bed, looking at the orange cat mug on the desk. From the day Suwan left until now, I use this mug every day. Never dropped it. And don't plan to. The investigation moved way faster than I expected. The regulators summoned Zhou Jianguo 3 times. Zhou Jianguo's legal team tried everything to block it. But the materials Zhao Minjuan provided were just too solid. Every single fund movement was backed by bank statements. A month later, the Industry Association issued an official notice. Zhao Yangguo was suspended from his VP position, pending the final investigation results. The day the news broke, Su Wan sent me a super long WeChat message. Tang Yuan. I've waited 2 years for today's result. From the day my dad was driven out of the company, I knew I'd have to do this sooner or later. I couldn't have done it alone. Thank you, I replied. You're not alone. She sent an orange cat meme. I saved it. Another 2 months passed, and the final verdict came down. Zhao Jianguo was found guilty of related party transactions and bribery, with the total amount exceeding 30 million. He was handed over to the judicial authorities. Oceanic Real Estate's board got a massive shakeup, and Zhao Minjuan was promoted to executive VP. Our company scored the full contract for Phase 2 and Phase 3 of the East Side Complex. Combined with the revenue from Phase 1, the revenue brought in by these 3 projects accounted for over 40% of last year's total. Wang Mingyuan announced at the all-hands meeting, the director position for R&D Dep 2 is no longer acting. Tang Yuan, you're officially promoted. The applause was deafening, with Zhao Lei clapping the loudest. After the meeting broke, I stood alone in the hallway for a bit. My phone rang. It was Su Wan. Congrats. Thanks. How does it feel to be director? Super busy. She chuckled. There's something I need to tell you. HQ approved my proposal to expand the planning center. I've been promoted to deputy director. Congrats. From now on, the branch's planning business line will report directly to me. In other words, she paused. We're officially boss and subordinate now. Except you're the boss and I'm the subordinate. The tables have turned completely. So I guess you should be transferring me allowance from now on. She completely ignored that. There's an executive meeting at HQ next week. I'm thinking about bringing you along. You can do a debrief as the branch's planning director. Just a quick presentation. Are you free to come to HQ? I'm your subordinate. Whatever you say goes. Great. I'll book your flights. Director Su is lodging out of pocket or comped. Where do you want to stay? Anywhere is fine as long as there's a bed. Silence on the line for a second. I've got it booked for you. After hanging up, I realized I was smiling again. Li Zheng shouted from the kitchen. On the phone with your boss again. This time you called her director, so, damn, she climbs the ladder fast. None of your business. Don't tell me you guys still aren't dating. Just cook your food. Bro, you're blushing. I went into my room and slammed the door shut. The executive meeting at HQ was on Thursday. The Hotel Su Wan, booked for me, was right across from the HQ office building. Just a 5-minute walk. I arrived on Wednesday evening. Su Wan was waiting for me in the hotel lobby, looking sharp with her short hair, wearing a dark blue coat, and still holding that same thermos. It was a 3-hour flight. Tired? I'm good. Drop your bags. Let's grab food. She took me to a hot pot restaurant. Hot pot? Didn't you promise Japanese food? Well, you said as long as there's a bed last time. So I figured you didn't have high standards for food either. I do have standards. Having you here is enough. The chopsticks slipped from her hand into the pot. I reached out to fish them out for her. Careful, it's hot. She took the chopsticks without looking at me. Tang Yuan, when did you start acting like this? Acting like what? Like this. She vaguely said like this, without explaining further, but I knew it started with the 5 months of allowance. The cat mug, the framed orange cat drawing, and countless times of we'll talk tomorrow or hit me up anytime. After all these things piled up piece by piece, I became like this. The kind of guy who would tell her, having you here is enough. Halfway through the hot pot, she asked me a question. Tang Yuan, have you ever thought about your future? Like work, life, family? I have. Any specifics? For work, stay at the branch for another 2 years and see if starting my own agency is possible. For life, move into a better apartment, no more roommates. For family, I looked at her, still thinking about it. She didn't push further. After finishing the hot pot, we walked out onto the street. The city where HQ is located is way bigger than the branch city, and the night is much brighter. When we reached the hotel entrance, she stopped. Is the presentation deck ready for tomorrow? Ready. You'll be the only one on stage. I'll be in the audience. Aren't you presenting with me? This is your show. I'm not stealing your spotlight. I nodded. Su-wan, you said you spent 2 years at HQ preparing to deal with Zhou Jianguo. Wasn't it exhausting carrying that all by yourself? Her expression softened for a split second. Exhausting. But I've gotten used to it. You don't have to be used to it anymore. She looked up at me. As the streetlights shone down, her short hair caught a gentle breeze. Are you saying that as a subordinate? No. She stared at me for 3 seconds. Then, in what capacity? As the guy who sends you $500 of allowance every month. She burst out laughing. Didn't you say that was a mistake? It was a mistake, but if I could do it all over again, I'd still send it. Do you have any idea what you're saying? I do, Su-wan. I took a step closer. Are you going to keep accepting my allowances? She lowered her head, twisting the cap of her thermos back and forth, and twisting it back again. Depends on how much you send. She raised her head, looking at me intently. A lifetime supply of meals. Warm amber light spilled out from the hotel lobby's glass doors. In that exact moment, it felt like the entire world shrunk down to just this small patch of light, and her standing right inside it. I held out my hand. She looked at my hand, then placed her hand in mine. No more nervous sweat. Her palm was dry and warm. I gripped it tight. Deal. Thursday's high-level debrief. I stood alone in HQ's massive conference room, facing over a dozen executives, presenting the execution and results of the East Side complex. From the community engagement conversion rates to long-term brand asset growth, from data models down to operational details. Spoke for 40 minutes straight without a single sip of water. 2 seconds of silence from the audience. Then, a massive round of applause broke out. The first one clapping was Su-wan. She sat in the second row near the aisle, clapping softly but steadily. The director of HQ's planning center, Su-wan's direct boss, stood up and said, the metrics on this project are top tier across the entire group. Tang Yuan, how old are you? 26. Pulling off an account of this caliber at 26. Impressive stuff. After the meeting, multiple HQ executives came over to swap business cards. Someone asked if I'd consider relocating to HQ. I glanced over at Su-wan. She was talking to someone, but caught my eye with a subtle look and gave a microscopic shake of her head. I smiled, not considering it for now. Still got a lot of unfinished business at the branch. That evening, Su-wan invited a few people from HQ Planning Center out for dinner, bringing me along. Someone joked during dinner. Director Su, you poach a total gem from the branch. Su-wan raised a glass and said, I didn't poach him. He grew entirely on his own. After the dinner wrapped up, we walked along the main street in front of the HQ building. You crushed it today. You've said that 3 times already, I said. Good things deserve repeating. She took a few more steps, then suddenly spun around to face me. Tang Yuan, about last night. Which part? The deal part. What about it? Are you sure? More certain than sending allowance. She stared at me for a few seconds, then lightly tapped my arm with her thermos. Then make sure to let your sister know when you get back. Tell her what? Tell her she's officially getting a sister-in-law. I was completely stunned. She had already turned and walked ahead. I chased after her. Su-wan, don't walk so fast. I'm not finished. Finished with what? If you're gonna be her sister-in-law, you gotta meet my mom. Her pace slowed down a bit. When are we heading back to your hometown? Mid-Autumn Festival. Is your mom easygoing? She only has one requirement. What's that? Can't be too skinny. Her footsteps ground to a complete halt. Then she spun around to face me, doing something I'd never seen her do before. She gently rested her head on my shoulder. just for 2 or 3 seconds. Then, pulled away, and walked toward the hotel without looking back. I stood on that massive avenue, with the bright lights of the HQ building overhead, and night commuters bustling past behind me. I whipped out my phone and sent Tang Xiaoyu a WeChat message. Xiaoyu, what's uppy? That orange cat avatar of yours. The artist's name is Goodnight Orange Cat, right? Yeah, why? That artist is probably gonna be your sister-in-law. No reply for a solid minute. Then, a tidal wave of texts from Tang Xiaoyu flooded in. What? You mean the orange cat girl? That gorgeous girl. Bro, you've got serious game. How did you even pull that off? I texted back, chased her with allowance money. Wait, what does that mean? I'll tell you later. No, you have to tell me right now. Tang Yuan, get your butt back here. I put my phone away and headed back to the hotel. For Mid-Autumn Festival, I brought Suwan home. I spent the 3 hours on the bullet train, giving her a pep talk. Just answer whatever my mom asks. Don't be nervous. She can be blunt, but she means well. Suwan kept a total poker face the whole time. Tang Yuan, I've negotiated $30 million deals, attended industry summits, and gone head-to-head with Zhou Jianguo. It's just meeting the parents. I'm not nervous. You screwed your thermos lid on backwards. She looked down and, silently, fixed it. The moment we reached the door, Tang Xiaoyu was the first to burst out. The second she saw Suwan, she let out the kind of high-pitched squeal only a 20-year-old college girl could make. Oh my god, girl, it's really you. Wow, you look way better than your pictures. Suwan was completely caught off guard by this intense energy and froze at the door. My mom walked out of the kitchen, still wearing her apron. She scanned Suwan up and down 3 times. Not too skinny. With just that one line, Suwan's shoulders visibly relaxed. At the dinner table, Tang Xiaoyu couldn't take her eyes off Suwan. So girl, how did you even meet my brother? Your brother sent me allowance money for 5 months straight. I almost slid right off my chair. Wait, what? Tang Xiaoyu looked at me. So, that was the person you transferred it to by mistake. Turns out it was my sister-in-law all along. She wasn't my sister-in-law back then. I tried desperately to explain, but you never asked for it back. Tang Xiaoyu pointed at me. You literally told me you were gonna get it back from them. I thought about it later and figured, whatever. My mom finally put the pieces together. She looked at me and said, dumb luck strikes again. Then she turned to Suwan. Is work busy? Pretty busy. Even if you're busy, you gotta eat. Look at how thin your arms are, Mom. My mom stopped talking, but she still insisted on piling 3 pork ribs into Suwan's bowl. After dinner, Tang Xiaoyu pulled Suwan onto the living room couch to chat, acting like besties who'd known each other for 10 years. I was in the kitchen, helping my mom wash dishes. If only your dad were still here. My mom suddenly sighed. My dad passed away 3 years ago. A sudden heart attack. If he saw you with such a capable girlfriend, he'd be thrilled. I said nothing, just slotted the plate onto the drying rack. What do you think of her? I think she's carrying a heavy burden. My mom dried her hands and glanced at me. A girl like her is amazing, sure. But you need to look out for her. Don't let her shoulder everything on her own. I know, you don't know Jack. My mom's face dropped. Your dad said he knew back then too. And look what happened. Never told me a single thing when stuff went down. By the time he was gone, I was completely in the dark. She turned her back to me. I stood in the kitchen, staring at her silhouette, then walked out. As I passed the living room, I saw Suwan and Tang Xiaoyu huddling together, looking at a phone. Looks like they were scrolling through Suwan's orange cat drawings. Hearing my footsteps, Suwan looked up at me. I flashed her a thumbs-up sign. She looked back down, her ears flushing red again. A lot happened over the next year. The East Side Complex Phase 2 hit a 78% sales rate in its first month, shattering the historical record for the entire East Side area. When Zhao Mingjuan from Oceanic Real Estate called me up, he said, choosing your team was easily one of the best decisions I've ever made. Zhou Jianguo's case went through the legal system. The court ruled him guilty of illegal related party transactions in the first trial, involving a staggering $34 million, sentencing him to 6 years in prison. The day the news dropped, Su Wan went alone to her dad's old office building. It had already been liquidated and turned into a convenience store. She sent me a photo. Underneath the store's storefront sign, there was an old, heavily faded plaque that read, Su's Planning, my dad's company. I know Zhou Jianguo is locked up now, but my dad's company is never coming back. I didn't say generic crap, like everything will be fine, because some things genuinely won't ever fix themselves. What's gone is gone. Instead, I said, Su Wan, everything you're building right now is the new Su's Planning. She replied with a long string of ellipses, then added, when did you get so smooth with your words? I've been learning from you for 2 years. It's been over 2 years. She corrected me. 2 years and 3 months, counting from the first time you messed up the transfer. That night, we stayed on the phone for 40 minutes. Not talking about anything serious at all. Just shooting the breeze. She complained that the landscaping at HQ sucked, and that there were only high-rises outside her window. I mentioned the branch cafeteria hired a new chef, and the food tasted way better now. She said she drew a new orange cat avatar for herself. I told her the orange cat mug on my desk had cracked a bit, but I glued it back together, and it was still usable. Just throw it out. I'll mail you a new one. No way. Why? It's sentimental. You're so clingy. Always clinging to old things. She didn't follow up on that thread, but the very next day, I received a package. A brand new orange cat mug, with a note on the bottom. Mug #2, don't break this one. I put the old one and the new one side by side on my desk. Zhao Lai yoked my desk. Looked like a cat cafe. A year later, Su Wan made director, and I worked my way up to branch VP. The Eastside Complex Phase 3 wrapped up construction, becoming one of the city's definitive landmark projects. Zhao Minjuan, from Oceanic Real Estate, gave a speech at the Phase 3 completion ceremony. This project took 3 years, from its initial approval to completion. Over these 3 years, I witnessed a team start completely from scratch, building a regular commercial hub, step by step, into the absolute future of this city. Tang Yuan, who climbed from supervisor to VP, and Su Wan, who made her way from the branch to HQ. They proved one thing, in this line of work. The most valuable asset isn't creative ideas, nor is it resources. It's having someone you can truly trust. The crowd erupted in applause. Su Wan stayed in the crowd, and didn't go up on stage. After the ceremony, I found her. Why didn't you go up? Having you up there is enough. You always say that. Because it's true. We walked out of the venue. It was a beautiful sunny afternoon outside. The 3 towers of the Eastside Complex gleamed as the sunlight reflected off the glass curtain walls. She stood right at the edge of the shadow and the light. Looking up, Tang Yuan, do you still remember the exact day you first sent me that allowances? September 1st. Wow. You even remember the date? Of course I do. It was Tang Xiaoyu's first day of school. I always sent her a chunk of change on her first day, but it ended up going to me. And that's how I ran into you. She turned to look at me, the sunlight hitting her face. Her eyes were incredibly bright. From now on, she said, you don't need to send me allowance anymore. Why? Because our money is going to be pooled together anyway. She pulled a small red booklet out of her bag. A marriage registry booklet, already signed on her end. When did you even? Last week, while you were away on a business trip. She flipped to the first page to show me. Her name was already written in the applicant slot. Sign it first, in case you try to back out. I took the booklet and looked at it, then snapped it shut and tucked it into my bag. Su Wan? Seriously? You never let me be the first to speak up about anything, do you? She said, totally justified, because you talk way too little. With your track record of 17 sentences, I'd be waiting until retirement for you to make a move. I burst out laughing out loud, right in front of the entrance to the East Side Complex. She started laughing too. Sunlight, glass curtain walls, a little red book, and that orange cat profile picture that had been accompanying me on WeChat for 2 whole years. That night, I shot Tang Xiaoyu a text. Xiaoyu, your sister-in-law is officially online. What's that supposed to mean? We got our marriage booklet. What? Then came a solid minute of her spamming my notification. The last notification was a voice note from her. I clicked to play it. She was literally bawling her eyes out. On the other end, bro, someone finally wants you. I'm so incredibly moved. I gazed saw. Su-wan leaned over and caught a snippet of it. She smiled. Your sister is so adorable. Just ignore her until she's done bawling. 5 years later, Su-wan and I started our own agency in the city where the branch office was located. We named it Goodnight Planning. Su-wan picked it. Why not call it Sue's Planning? I asked. Sue's Planning belonged to my dad. She said, this agency belongs to both of us. In our first year, we took on 3 projects and made $8 million in revenue. Our revenue tripled in the second year. By the third year, we won the industry award for top 10 creative agencies. Zhao Minyuan became one of our biggest clients. The vast majority of Oceanic Real Estate's subsequent accounts were handed straight over to Goodnight Planning. After Tang Xiaowu finished grad school, she joined us as our copywriting director. On her very first day, she covered a whole wall of her office in orange cat stickers. Li Jiang also joined the crew later to run operations. He constantly complains that Su-wan is too strict, but never dares to say it to her face. Zhao Lalai followed me over from the branch office and became our project director. We placed 2 orange cat plushies at the front desk, one big and one small. They were custom ordered from a factory, based on Su-wan's drawings. Whenever clients visit, they always ask, is your corporate mascot a cat? I always say, yeah, it's a cat we mistakenly sent allowance to, and could never get back. Nobody ever gets it. But Su-wan gets it. Every single time someone asks that question, she gives me a knowing look. That look holds a $500 transaction, a customized mug, a framed drawing that was the 3rd copy in existence, an afternoon spent faking composure at a networking event, a pitch, a whistleblower letter, a hot pot meal, a little red book, and the complete story of our 2 years. No, 5 years. No, all the years to come. When we get home at night, our daughter bounds off the couch. Daddy, Mommy, she's 2.5, still a bit wobbly on her feet, and throws herself into Su-wan's arms. Were you good today? Su-wan picks her up. Super good. Auntie drew kitties for me. Tang Xiaoyu pokes her head out from the kitchen. Hey, I drew them completely by hand, even though they're not as good as the ones my sister-in-law draws. Su-wan carries our daughter over to the window. Outside is the city skyline. It's pretty much the exact same angle as the photo I saw in her moments for the first time. Except now, this is our home. She turns around to look at me. Tang Yuan, you made an absolute killing on those $600 back then, huh? A principal investment of $600 with a return. I take a look at her, and then a look at our daughter. That is completely infinite. She turns back around, burying her face in our daughter's hair, but I can see her shoulders shaking. She's smiling. The city outside lights up. The orange cat mugs. The earliest one with the crack sits at the very top of the bookshelf. Right next to it is the second one. And right next to that is the third one. The tiny one, Su-wan drew. The year our daughter was born. With text on the dark base. Mug #3. Don't break this one. 3 orange cats, sitting in a neat row, standing in the warm light of the living room. I take it all in. Suddenly I think, if I hadn't sent those $500 to the wrong account, if our 2 avatars hadn't been identical, if she had just refunded the money right away, then none of this would exist right now. But as it happens, she didn't refund it. As it happens, she waited for me to notice. As it happens, I noticed. And as it happens, after noticing, I didn't ask for it back. Some stories start with a mistake, but the best possible ending is turning that mistake into the perfect reality.